It's very easy to think about memory, as with most cognitive capacities, as if it's just a sort of one-dimensional thing that gets better as we get older from childhood and then falls off again when we age. And that's a common sort of picture of development. But when we look at children and we look at infants, what we realize is that there's actually many different kinds of memory, many different functions that memory serves, and that there are trade-offs between those different kinds of memory. And children in childhood seem to have memory capacities that are very well suited, as Tomás said, to that particular capacity they have for an incredible amount of learning and extracting a lot of information from the world. And in some ways, that means that their memory is quite different from the kind of memory that we think of in adulthood. And I think there's some evidence that it switches again in older life. So instead of thinking of it as just, okay, there's this one thing, we get more of it as we get older, we lose some of it as we age, we should think about different kinds of memory, different memory systems, different kinds of neural instantiations that serve different kinds of functions.
Development is really a kind of key part of how the brain's organizing itself, and strong foundational memory skills in childhood are associated with better outcomes in school, greater emotional resilience, and even healthier cognitive aging. And kind of on the flip side, disruptions in early memory, whether it be to stress or trauma, can actually do the opposite. But the good news is that early interventions work. So through supportive environments, responsive caregiving, and play-based learning cues can strengthen memory systems during this most plastic kind of formative phase.
Real AI is going to have to be partly inspired by the brain. And we need to learn much more about how the brain is doing things. The kind of AI we have with LLMs doesn't place a lot of weight on priors, on instincts that are built into us at a species level, and also on the early kind of childlike learning. But they also don't really take the facts of neuroscience on board yet. And part of the reason for that is we don't know enough about the biology of memory, and we don't know enough about remembering. I would argue that we know more about forgetting right now than we do about what's happening when we remember something. And in the case of forgetting across infantile amnesia, it's possible that what we're seeing is really differential remembering. And what I think increasingly is happening is that other memories are competing for expression. So even though my colleagues and friends, and even my own ego might think I should remember this, my brain is smarter than that. My brain is smarter than my consciousness, and it's deciding to express other things and to think about other things. And I think the problem is we've designed so much of society, particularly our education system, around mismatches that are not biologically reasonable. They don't fit our past evolution, and I think they certainly don't fit our current situation or future situation. So there's a lot to learn there about how the brain reaches for information. And once we understand more about those algorithms, I think they can be implemented in artificial intelligence, whether it's biologically inspired or even just with LLMs.